What up, Kings? Hope you guys are well. So in this video, I want to do a demo of Illumin DSP. So these guys reached out to me. I already have a DSP that I like, that I'm using currently, but these guys reached out and I respect them a lot because I've spoken to them before. So as the king, I only want to work with the best. So when they reached out, I was like, you know what? I remember these guys. They were good to me. So I'm going to get a demo from them because it's been a year since I spoke to these guys. So a lot has changed in 12 months, a whole lot. And I'm going to do a demo for you guys so you guys can understand some of the things that I look for in a DSP for my campaigns. So in 2025 was a rough year for a lot of advertisers. That's because the economy was very volatile. Things were unpredictable, tariffs and all this stuff. It's a mess. Let's put it that way. You cannot continue 2026 like you did in 2025, or else you're going to continue to lose out here. Illumin has a great platform that they've built. They've made some adjustments since the last conversation I had with them, and let's get into the video.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. Excited to give you a deeper dive into Illumin and our new Canvas experience. Literally, this just launched about a month ago, so we've been working on it for about a year. We've had the Illumin concept live for the past 4 years here, but we've made a bunch of tweaks to it. We've added some new features, functionality. We've sped up the build process, as well as, as a company, we're really making the move as a DSP, I should say, to more outcomes-based measurement, as well as setting campaigns up that can prove outcomes faster. So you're going to see a few things today as it relates to measurement. There's a lot more to come. But the things that I'm going to call out are our incrementality testing scenarios, as well as our ability to measure conversion pathways. And then ultimately, I'm going to touch a little bit on our integration with Meta, because that's a super unique one for a DSP as well.
Sounds good.
But out of the gate, I'm going to spend the majority of the time walking you through how the UI works, what makes it different. We really wanted to take the front end, the UI of the DSP, and make it radically different than every other platform, because frankly, a lot of what is in DSPs today is relatively table stakes, inventory, data, measurement. We can all do some element of it. But when you think about how you actually build a campaign, how you set it up, how you may even want to storytell, i.e., show someone, a CTV ad 5 times, and then once they've seen that, I only want that person to move to the next stage where they may see a different creative. That idea, right, omni-channel storytelling and sequencing is really hard to do in every DSP that is not purpose-built to do it, like what we've built. And to do that, you have to think differently about the UI. You have to think about it more as a whiteboard approach versus I'm going to build, 12 campaigns with 10,000 line items apiece, and I'm going to set them live, and they're all going to, manage to their own KPIs, and then I'm going to report on them either via Excel or via some dashboard after that. We wanted you to be able to see the movement and flow of audiences as they go through the campaign that you've built as well. So if we look at the UI out of the gate, this is the canvas. So there's 2 ways to create a campaign. You can move forward via more of the traditional approach just by clicking your way through, saying, what do you want? Is it open web? Is it out of home? Is it an awareness, engagement, conversion? That will build a campaign and throw it onto the canvas. My favorite way to do it, though, is really this. I like to play around with it.
Yeah, drag and
show
drop.
it off.
Yeah, that's nice. That's
drag and drop, baby.
Perfect.
Exactly. So this, you can really do whatever you want with this, but think about it as these are now 3 separate campaigns, okay? One could be CTV, this could be native, this could be audio or retargeting, it doesn't matter, right? And you don't have to connect them, by the way. You don't have to. If you because you may not know that you want to force a path between these 3 different things. And we've got data and insights that will back that up and show you why you should connect them and what the ideal things to connect are. But I just want to go in and actually show you the build process and how easy it is to use. So you move around the canvas. Let's say we're going to go into this first campaign and go to set it up. So click within this square right here. That's going to build up. That's going to show the build module. So you have all your campaign details, and you're really the idea here was to move left to right with the most the minimal amount of steps and clicks required, okay? So we looked at every other DSP, even including our own, and we said, what is, to build a campaign, like from scratch, the fastest way possible. What does a trader or buyer need to do, and what are the things that they need? And so you start with your campaign details, then you edit your budget and your goals, then you're going to go in and add your tactics.
Yeah.
So you'll notice we've made it super easy to navigate. So if I add a tactic on that path 204 that I created, let's add a CTV tactic, it's going to build a little bullet under here.
Yeah.
That bullet is now, this is the CTV tactic for path 204. But if I was going to switch to that other campaign, I could just go up here and start adding budgets and tactics here. So you have a navigation here, and this actually Meta actually works somewhat like this in the sense that there's a left-hand navigate bar. Yeah, exactly. You're in all the platforms, so you know. So let's say we want to manage this CTV tactic. This is where you're going to go in. You're going to add creatives. You can upload them from a library, etc. All your audiences. You can search the marketplace here, but you can also pre-map first and third party personas, whatever you've already pre-built. Targeting, of course, we're a DSP, right? You got to have advanced layers of targeting. So everything down to geo, language, inventory. This will link to the inventory library, which there's an entirely different part of the platform for that. Probably won't have time to get into that today. But the idea is to give you all the filters that you'd be expecting with any DSP. You have access to right here, and you manage at the tactic level. But you can also manage these at the campaign level too, if you just want the entire campaign to have, let's say, a specific type of geo-targeting. And then a cool feature we also have is this change history report. So anybody that's using the platform, if they make a change, it will be logged here, as well as what was the performance gain or decrease based on that move that was made. So if you went and changed geos, or you added a different inventory source, or you added a type of targeting, and you saw a decrease in CPA or an increase in CTR, you'd say, oh, I got to do more of that, or maybe I should revert that. So the idea is that every move that's made within each of these three campaigns is tracked via the change history. So let's assume that you've got the campaign set up, you've done everything that you needed it to do. Now you're ready to set this campaign live. Hit publish, this campaign's going to go live. Now, we could also, if this campaign was very similar to that campaign, we could just go and clone this and we'd build a version, the same version, and maybe we need to update geo or creatives or something like that. So the build process, incredibly smooth, fast, easy, everything. The idea behind it from our product team was that everything that you need to do to build a campaign lives right here within this box, okay? Yeah. And so if you're, other platforms, and you know this very well, you may have to move around to 22 different tabs and screens and back in and back out. And so it becomes cumbersome to build a campaign. So the idea behind it, everything you need to do to launch a campaign, set it live within here. But what happens when I want to connect awareness campaign to, let's say, engagement campaign? This routing, if you're using another platform where it's not a whiteboarding approach, how do you do that? Well, I'll show you how easy it is here. So, okay, now they're connected. So I can now, pretty slick, right?
Yeah.
So I can tell the system, all right, what's the condition that I want to create that routing, okay? So is it, let's say it's an awareness campaign, I want 10 impressions. Yeah. So anytime someone has seen an awareness ad 10 times, that audience, and only that audience, as they complete it, will move to the engagement stage. Nice. And then I could take it a step further, and I could say, if that person now clicks or maybe does a site engagement, you can have multiple of these, by the way, or I want to make sure that I'm not over frequency, not showing some sort of crazy frequency. Maybe I'll still set an intent impression condition, but if they click, they'll move forward before they hit that 10 condition. Exactly. So this idea of, sequential storytelling, it's now saying, hey, build the campaign exactly the way that you would normally build it, but now you can force a path through the different stages if you want to. But I will tell you, you don't have to get the insight of maybe there's a different path through these that you didn't know about that our AI can uncover for you. So let me stop there. Any questions so far?
First of all, I love it. Thank you, Michael. So two questions. Yeah. Number one, when it comes to geo-targeting, can I geo-target it to Bangkok, Hong Kong, Sydney?
The answer is yes, but we don't support those markets as it stands because we don't have data centers built in that part of the world. So we support North America, South America, and all of Europe. But Sydney, Bangkok, Thailand, Japan are technically you could you could technically run it, but because we don't have a data center there, there's a latency effect that, we may not win the bids is kind of the long and short of it. I think eventually we will be expanding. But the answer is the geo-targeting, you could certainly do it, but it's not something that we technically would recommend because of that, not having a data center present.
So my ads will just run blindly if I run it in, let's say, Thailand by mistake or intentionally.
It's not that they would run blindly. It would still, it's that we can't ensure that we're going to, because when it comes to bidding, it's a matter of milliseconds.
Gotcha.
And so let's say another DSP has a data center in Singapore and we don't.
Yeah.
Just because I have one in LA and they have one in Singapore, there's that millisecond or two or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we may have the same bid. They're going to win because that latency effect.
I understand.
So it's not a matter of blind. You'll still be able to do targeting and things like that. It's just, we can't ensure that we're going to win the bid because we don't have a data center within that region.
Got it. Understood. So the reason I'm asking, Michael, is because World Cup soccer is coming up, and it's a big deal globally. I'm not in Atlanta right now. That's my base, but I'm in Zanzibar, and I travel a lot. What I've noticed is, as I have these different conversations, I'm noticing a trend here that the hardcore soccer fans that are supposed to come to North America are boycotting. So I need to figure out how to plan all my World Cup soccer campaigns, how they're going to look like because most of my audience is just going to refuse to come to North America. Well, they'll come to Canada, I'll come to Canada myself, just to watch the games. But this is what I'm seeing, and this is why I'm asking this question. So I want to know how I'm going to plan it. So maybe I'll only focus on targeting North America, all the fans in North America, and then anybody outside of North America, maybe I'll hit them up with like Facebook and Instagram ads. So
I think that's very, very smart.
Do you see anybody coordinating social and this? And how do they do that?
It's funny you ask. So we've built a very unique meta integration. Actually, one that is we've had it for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
It's in dev for this new UI, but I can share it with you and show you what it is and what it's going to look like.
Okay.
The idea behind it is that we're a DSP. We're independent. We've got our own identity graph. We can see tons of addressable audiences. We can expose them to programmatic creatives, but programmatic isn't the only game in town. We know that. Frankly, a lot of people, programmatic, you're already doing search and social usually once you've decided to do programmatic.
Correct. Yeah.
So what's the connective tissue between programmatic and social that makes sense? We believe, and we've had this for about a year and a half now, so we believe that it's about creating a pre-exposure in programmatic and then routing those audiences to Meta for whether that be the engagement or the conversion campaign, which is where a lot of their spend happens. So what we've done is build what we call live audiences, okay? So our connection with Meta is one that's very unique in the sense that we've built a partnership that allows for the pushing of audiences, not the pulling. So I'm going to make sure we're clear on that.
Yeah, because
I can't get any data.
Meta's not going to allow that. Right.
They're not going to do it, okay? And that's okay because that's never going to happen.
You got to give them a little something, man. You got to give them a little something, like $50.
I know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Same general logic we shared with you before, right? So let's say you built campaign A, but instead of that audience just going maybe to the next stage of the journey, what if you want to say, actually, that audience is done with programmatic. I think Meta is the next best step for them. So the feature that we've always had, and we're re-engineering a little bit for the new UI, it's going to look just like this. So you can draw a line out of that awareness campaign and say, I want to do one of two things. I want to save that audience for a later programmatic execution. That's the open web button. Or I want to push that audience to Meta. So our identity graph and their identity graph can talk to each other. There's unique ways in which we can match mobile device ID, pixel sync, et cetera. And so we can match to Meta saying, okay, Mike saw a video ad 5 times within the programmatic ecosystem. Now I want to show him an ad on Meta. Within 2 clicks, that audience from Illumin can be live and running. And obviously it takes time to build the pool based on frequency and exposure and things like that. But the way I look at it and the way we look at it is that platforms like Google, like Amazon, even the Trade Desk, ones that have their own proprietary, they're a walled garden, they don't want data going really in or out, they don't want to share data. You think Google is ever going to send proprietary exposure data for a unique audience to Meta?
Never. You can bribe them. They're not taking it.
No. It's just never going to happen. It's never going to happen. But the way we look at it is we say, hey, we're an independent platform.
Yeah.
And we don't want to stop at Meta, by the way. We're looking now at TikTok. We're going to be looking at Reddit. We're going to be looking at whatever platforms will allow us to push and match to audiences on their end. That way, programmatic becomes this linchpin between potentially different platforms where we can push and pull levers. And maybe you love programmatic for awareness, or maybe you love programmatic for engagement. And we have partnerships actually that we're about to put into this platform from an email perspective. Nice. So you could say MailChimp is where the person opened an email in MailChimp. I then showed them a display or a video ad, and then I want to push that audience to Meta. Mm-hmm. Think of that as what we are building, in the sense that that's why these paths that you can draw, it's not just between CTV native and retargeting. It's email to programmatic to Meta. It's email to Reddit to something else, right? Whatever we can connect for you, we want to connect. But at the same time, we want to be a programmatic powerhouse and do all the things that you'd be expecting of a programmatic platform with this type of advanced sequencing that I've showed you.
Love it. Maybe did I ask you did I say 2 questions? I only asked 1, right?
I think you asked about geo, but was there? Yeah, tell me what was
the second question. Was anything around AI? Anything exciting that I should know?
From an AI perspective, we're doing a few cool different things. So I'll tell you the first one that is, this is probably the longer term thing that we're doing. So we are building an agentic layer to all of this, meaning that, let's say you want to draw this out. Okay, you certainly could. Well, what if you actually just wanted to use more of a ChatGPT like model and say, hey, I'm interested in males that are above 40 that live in Florida that are interested in golf. That's me, shocker. And so the system may actually draw out and create different paths and scenarios for you to review potentially. So the idea is you're kind of building your campaign by talking to the system, or if you're an experienced trader and you want to do it, you can certainly do it this way. So that is one element of it, and that's more of a long-term build. In the short term, we're actually leveraging AI in a few really cool ways. So 2 different things that we're launching in Q1 that are 100% powered by AI. So the first one is our creative insight. So this is all brand new in the sense that, let's say you built a campaign, you got 3 ad sizes going, but you're missing out on thousands, if not millions of impressions because you don't have the right ad size. But you don't know what you don't know. So within the platform now, by creatives and by audiences, you're going to see these little diamonds. And that diamond means that the AI has found an insight for you that, hey, if you add the 320 by 50, the 300 by 50, if you build these ad sizes, you're going to unlock millions of additional bid opportunities for scale and performance. So that's the creative side. I think that's super cool. I think this is the better one, frankly, if I'm honest. So imagine a scenario where you've gone and you've selected 3 different audiences, 5 audiences, whatever it is. How many, going through audience selection within a DSP it's mind-boggling because it's limitless, okay? You could find 50 different segments for someone that's in market for a Subaru. How do you know which one to pick, okay? So
I used to guess.
In this scenario,
I just guess.
Right.
Yeah, especially in DV360, it's still guesswork. Go ahead.
Exactly. So let's say you've guessed and you've now found 1 or 2 of them that end up working really well. Our system will say, if that's the one that you really like, we're going to give you, here's 25 more examples of audiences that fall or have similar commonalities with that bucket. So it's literally audience insights on steroids, because it's going to tell you exactly what you should go out and add more of if you want, more of that reach, more of that scale, more of that performance. And you can add these directly from the build side of the bar. So once your campaign's live, our AI looks at that audience, says, okay, this looks like all these other ones that we have access to. You no longer need to go in and sort through them and try to figure it out. And it may frankly be something that falls outside of what you thought. Maybe the portion in market for automotive was also, a DIY, home remodel or something like that. Who knows? Yeah. So these are some of the ways we're using AI, as well as I will tell you something that we're building in the future, but for our conversion pathways reporting. So this is basically using AI to find patterns between campaigns that are either connected or unconnected.
Nice.
So remember how I showed you that you could map 3 different campaigns together in a sequence?
Yeah.
Well, what if you're a client that says, I don't know what I should connect? I've never connected these things before.
Yeah.
So if you launch your campaign and don't connect it, and then run the conversion pathways insight analysis, this will actually tell you that audiences moving through these different creatives, tactics, steps, actually based on the KPI you want, a conversion, a purchase, a site engagement, this is the unique path through it that's going to get you the most bang for your buck. So if you don't decide to connect them, go look at this dashboard, and then that will tell you maybe where you should force a connection. So we're basically using AI to look between every campaign you're running and figure out, is there a pattern? Is there a pattern between audience creative tactic to get to the macro level thing, the big KPI that you really want for your client?
Love it. Thank you so much. I think 20 minutes is up, and I don't want to disrespect your time. But thank you so much.
No.
I appreciate you, Michael. Thank you so much. I like this a lot.
Amazing. We'll get all the pieces in together, so when you're ready to rock, we're ready to rock.
Appreciate you, Katie, and thank you so much, Michael. And I know your time is money.
Oh, you're the best. And if you need to play it, do you ever go to Reddit, r.adops?
No,
you ever spend any time there?
I don't.
Okay.
I should, huh?
So I'm just telling you, like, if you want like the realest of the real talk, like that's where if I want to go and I want to like search or saying about other DSPs and things like that, I'll go to Reddit. And there's literally an AdOps subreddit, which especially for you, if you're looking just to see, read or even promote your videos, I'm just saying like, hey, just so you guys know, I just talked to Illumin, check it out. Or I just taught, like, do you want, I don't know, just a thought. So.
Michael, thank you so much for that tip. I actually did a video about that. That's how I got the Trade Desk. I did a video about the Trade Desk. I didn't talk too much crap about them. I was just honest.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk crap. Katie,
it was a pleasure to meet you.
You too, guys.
I'll follow up with an email tomorrow. We'll take it from there.
You too.
Take care.
Cool.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye. So there you have it. I hope you guys got some value from this video. If you guys are ready to work with the best, I'll handle all the strategy, and most of my campaign builds and most of my campaign strategy is using AI. And also AI assists me with my campaign executions. So if you guys are ready to work with the best, schedule a call. I'll put a link in the description of this video, and I'll make sure I will add Illumin's contact details. If you guys want to get a demo of your own as well, please reach out to these guys. They're nice to me, so they'll be nice to you. So schedule a call if you want the best strategy for 2026, considering all the chaos that's happening right now in the world that is affecting your campaigns. Don't think for a second that what's happening in the world is not going to impact your campaigns, because it will. That's why you need the king. Schedule a call. Talk to you soon.